Oh, let me get this show on the road. Who's ready for some boom, baby? Boom! Rise and shine on a cloudy day. You already know. Clouds over my workout area. But man, that fresh air smell. It's the trees. Smoke some trees. This is the morning motivation. I'm Mark Saint, owner of Saints Brand, Saints Addiction, and mostly Saints. I started this channel so I could sell shirts and I could reach, preach, and teach to people about life. And yesterday I went in deep because we go deep in on this show and we keep the truth to the young black youth. I was just watching some pearly things, and there's some people that can't handle the truth, and we're going to talk about both sides of the truth right now as I smoke this bong rip. Is it clear? Am I coming in clear? Hopefully I'm coming in clear and you can hear. This is how it goes. There's two sides to every story. I was talking about traveling on a road and how there's two roads divided in a forest, just like Jack Frost said. Maybe I should turn this light on. The clouds keep cutting out the sun. But there's two paths traveled by, and I chose the one. I chose one that was least traveled, and some of the times it's one of the hardest paths because I'll be homeless, I'll be broke, and sometimes I'll be depressed. But I've also been extremely free, even though I've been arrested multiple times. I've also been extremely free to travel where I want to be, and I've also been free to do what I want to do with my time. And that kind of freedom is almost priceless. But let's get into it because I took a. Maybe I should grab the phone. I think it's on that phone, and maybe on this phone. But there was a screenshot. Let me grab it. Hold on. Let me turn on the light too. Grab the phone, leave it alone. Let me see, there was like a stat. Because this is what was happening is we have cognitive bias, right? We'll have someone sit there and explain something to us. Like I was watching on Pearly Things. I'm going to pick them up from Vilpoo School after that, go to America's. Okay, I'm getting information here. To eat and do homework from there. From there we go to the ice rink by bus if it would be easier for you to come directly to the hall. Okay, but I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I have no clue what to do. No, let me just put it that way. And that's what the girl was doing. She had no clue what was going on with the statistics, but she wanted to be argumentative. And it's sometimes I find that happening with me where I'm just like, and this is all human beings. So we all have cognitive bias. We all tend to bite down on that mouthpiece, double down on stupidity, and then just go, this is the only way that's right because this is the way that I feel, instead of I'm being learned or I'm being taught something new. And this is why we're going in. This guy's not helping. I have no clue what to do. Okay, so I take a lot of screenshots. I watch a lot of, the feminist is destroyed, pearly things right here. It's kind of reflective. Let me see if I put my hand there. Well, yeah, this feminist gets destroyed for saying women can wear anything outside. Yeah, because you feel safe. That shit don't work in Saudi Arabia because it's too enticing. And if that goes down, oh shit, yeah, guess who's on this? Because it's too enticing. Whoa! And, if that goes down, oh shit, yeah, guess who's on this? Because it's too enticing. There it is, bro. Yeah, my live chat. I'm the only one watching my live chat. I literally just inflated my own statistics. And that's so weird that we do that all the time as we're looking for cognitive biases. We're looking for things that reinforce the beliefs that we already have. And what I wanted to do, what I was trying to do yesterday, I guess someone else is watching, or maybe it's me watching and getting off. It says it's probably me watching myself. But to reinforce something that we already believe. If we already believe that God is true, then you're going to be a religious person. If you already believe someone's a liar, then you're going to call them a liar. If you already believe, and look for things that make them, to do that thing. So that's what we end up doing. And he's like, you know where the hall is? Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't know where the hall is, and you're not helping. You're making this harder than it has to be. My buddy's like, oh, the thing starts at 4 o'clock. And I'm like, well, where do I meet you at? And then he was just like, well, I'm doing something different. You're not helping. You're not helping either. So You're just assuming that I should just know where things are going. And fuck the motorcycles! Always making so much noise outside of my door. I gotta make a little more noise than them because they're interrupting my show. I just want some fresh air, so I leave the door open, but these fuckers go back and forth, and I can't wait to put up a rope. Isn't that weird when you feel irritated that you can't wait to hurt someone? That's another cognitive bias. It's like, well, this person did something to me. Like the girl wouldn't shut up. And you're like, well, they called me names. And I'm like, you're in a male driven sport. We call everyone names. There's a certain amount of hazing that goes on. There's what did the guy term he used? He said, you got to earn your keep. You know, there's a learning phase. There's almost to see if you have the aptitude, the attitude, and the resilience to be in that position because lives are on the line. Not jobs are on the line, lives are on the line. If you're an engineer and you fuck up, you're going to hurt a lot of people's lives. And that's something that people don't calculate. They only see it personally. Well, I'm personalizing it. So therefore, it's got to happen the way that I want. Okay, so 7 things most people take to learn in a lifetime. It says, number 1, the quality of your life. The quality of your life is the quality of your relationships, full stop. Okay, we got this thing going on here. Remember, let me go put my arm here. Let me not touch the screen. Nope. There we go. Full stop. I'll read it because it's hard to read on here. The slow accumulation of small, simple experiences of being far more valuable than the most of the big life-changing experiences. You don't have to prove anything to anybody, including yourself. Things almost never turn out the way you want or expect them to, and that's all right. You can't take care of others if you're unable to take care of yourself. Without health, you have nothing. And number 7, it's never too late to start. It's never too late to change. And that's what the whole thing was, is the girl was having an inability to change. I'm watching the Pearly things. I've been kind of digesting. She was on a roll with some of these girls that were having cognitive dissonance, and it was obvious to me. And I'm like, man, dude, I used to do that too. And I would just be argumentative and not want to lose. And therefore, I would just argue the point. And I'm like, yeah, but where did those statistics come from? Oh, yeah, when was that research done? Oh, yeah, what institution did it come from? Yeah, I don't trust Fox News, so therefore it must not be valid. And we'll devalue or minimize someone's argument. And that's what she was saying too. It's like, we'll misconstrue things because our biases are so strong for us to hold true to a certain position that we can't see the forest through the trees. And that's what I thought would just happen with my ex. I sent an email to her and I haven't heard back from her because I think I was quite poignant. She was telling me I need to see mental health, and I was pointing out her mental instability. And I was like, look, dude, you came to me like a dumpster fire, dude. You were already on fire. I was on trajectory. I was a missile launched out of a thing. I was running the event. We had the whole tent and dome. I was healthy. I wouldn't say that I was wealthy, but I had a little bit of money coming in. And here, lo and behold, she was like, we don't make enough money for a baby. And I found out that it costs about $16,000 for a baby. And at that time, I had $22,000. So it made me really sad. And I think it made her sad, too, that said that we couldn't afford a baby. In fact, I had the money and there is no excuse. And that's what I'm trying to present my argument to the side of this, is just like, there are no excuses. It's just the way that we feel. And if we feel harmed or we feel unsafe or we feel slighted, then we're all of a sudden, we're the worst to work with. You know what I mean? It's almost like going to a job you don't like. If you don't like, you start showing up late, you start rolling your eyes, you start sassing back. And then that's when you get fired and you're like, well, why'd you fire me? And the argument with the girl was that, smell what the rock is cooking. Fucking motorcycles, man. Shut up. Go to the forest where no one can hear you, okay? You're interrupting my vibe, and then that I can't abide. The dude abides. So I'm 10 minutes in the show and I still haven't even already started my first smoke. So let me get a little bit of THC in me and we'll finish up this thought eventually. I make my shit rhyme because it's always on time. I can't stop because the rhythm pop. Ooh. Okay, so let's make this rhythm pop. Let's get this bake on. If you're waking and baking with me, please, by all means, hit the join weed club or comment join weed club, and then I know that you were smoking same time as me, which is kind of cool. I think we all need a bit of reprieve. Maybe you're not into this sort of medication, but maybe you are and you're watching right now. So Yeah, smoke along with me. Let's get our minds and chi calm down, and let's get into this idea, shall we? Burn the candles at both ends, y'all. Burn the candle at both ends. There it is. There it is. And so many times I've gone on the show this last week and just kind of blamed it all on myself. And then I sent a salvo at my ex in an email, and I went, "You're not Snow White either. None of us are perfect. And maybe the situation wasn't perfect, but the way to attack it. Me, I was attacking her, telling her get out of the car so we could go and talk. Let's go back to our spot. Let's restart and start from fresh. This isn't my first time giving her instructions. I remember we were camping and we had an argument, and I said, "Look, we can." I grabbed her. I showed, "Me and you are magic. We can create magic. We can manifest anything." And I didn't even know she was pregnant at that time. It was like the inception. And I go, "Just give us." I'm thinking we can give space. Let me cool down. Let me get this tent down. Take a couple breathers. Catch my breath. Go do dishes. Let's get some space between us. Instead, what she did is she tried to come over and help me with the tent. And I'm like, that's not what I just instructed you to do. If your boss told you to go get coffee, you go get coffee. She didn't want me to be the boss. She wanted to be the boss and do it her way. And that's what irritated me. I'm like, dude, if you don't get the fuck away from me right now, I'm still frustrated. Now I look like the asshole, but I'm the guy that told her to do something and she didn't want to do it. And that's exactly what this comes down to, is this people will bite down, double down on stupidity, and be like, yes, but I still want to be right, or yes, I still want to be independent. And it's all fine and all good, but all of us have to be on a team. Everybody has to pass the ball around. Someone's a coach, someone's a player, and then there's spectators. And most people don't want to let people, she didn't want to let me lead. She didn't respect me, so therefore she basically rolled her eyes at me, or did what she wanted to do instead of what she was told to do. And most people are like, "Why are you telling her to do that?" And it's because I asked for space. And this is something that she talks about. I'm a habitual line stepper, or I keep going past her boundary or her wishes, talking about this on the show. It's like, it's not your show. I'm talking about my show. If you want to start your own show, do your own show. But I'm allowed to talk about anything that I want to talk about. You're not the boss of me. And that's exactly what she was telling me at that time. You're not the boss of me. And at that time, so now you're the boss of you, right? So now you're the boss of you, and you made your own decisions. So therefore, you have your own consequences. And that's what ends up happening is we don't want to know. We don't want to face our consequences. That's why I think I haven't gotten any response from my email from her, because she doesn't want to apologize. She doesn't want to show herself, because it's her ego, show herself in a different light. And I'm constantly going, I'm a fuck up, and I don't mind showing my mistakes and where I fucked up. Is it okay for me to kick her out of the bed physically when she's 4 weeks pregnant? Probably not. It's not my best look. I was actually shocked at myself. I'm like, Mark, you're basically killing this baby. And I cried at the couch when she was in the room. And I'm just like, man, I got to stop this shit, bro. I got to stop this shit, man. And instead of her going, I got to stop this shit, she just got to double down and said, I'm going to do my own thing. And now she has her own thing. You still have your children. You still have your wife, your life. And now you still have to live that life. And that's the consequences that we all bear when we've made decisions to break up with somebody, or argue with somebody, or have a difference of opinion. We've literally placed ourselves on a different sides. That's why I said there's two sides, and everybody knows there's two sides. We all know that when you flip a coin, you might get heads or tails. But are you okay with what the coin lands on, or the roulette is what I was thinking. We're betting that it's going to be on a certain number. If it doesn't hit, you lose your money. Like there's no negotiation. Wait. Let me switch my number. Hold up. I want something different. I want the one that always wins. And guess what? The consequences of not winning is lost money in roulette or gambling or anything else. And we're all very aware of that. Do we like losing money? Hell no. We worked hard for that money. But did we risk it by putting it on the table and gambling? And that's why it's called gambling, because you're gambling on your outcome. You actually don't know what the outcome's going to be. No one knows what the future is going to be. But by your decisions, you are now married to whatever happens. Win or lose, that's what happens with your consequences. And I was feeling like she had a tough time admitting that she was angry. It's so hard for her to say. She was like, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm a loving person. All true, dude. I accept those things. So let's flip the other side. What are your dark traits? What are the things that you're not willing to admit? That you're argumentative, that you cause fights, that you sometimes bring imbalance to me, and that you definitely didn't bring me any peace when you're arguing with me. But to see that your point of arguing was worth way more than us being in peace. That's what I keep talking to people. First you go right, then you go wrong. It's not right over wrong. You know what I mean? It's peace over right. And that's the tough part, what people don't want to do. They don't want to be peaceful. They want to be right. And they rather be she wanted to be stubborn and argue with me out in Arizona in the middle. The whole tent like imploded in on us, so we had to go sleep in the car. But she started arguing with me like I was the wind that made the tent go down. And I was like, wait, that's not my fault. And what did the other one? My buddy said, this is something completely separate. He was like, when the girl got mad at him because the tide went out. We all were there in Thailand. We were all on this island on Krabi. I think it was, we just figured it out, Railay Beach. And what happens in Railay Beach is but you got to wait like 6 or 7 hours for this tide to come in. So it doesn't even matter if you wanted to be there or not. The water goes out naturally and all the boats sink, and you have to wait patiently for it to come back before somebody comes and picks you up. She didn't want to wait patiently. She wanted to argue with her boyfriend and demand that the tide comes up, when time and tide waits for no man or woman, is the original quote. So it's like one of those things that we all like to be like, oh yeah, dude, this is the way it's supposed to be, and da 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 da, no. Like it said on the rules of number 7, things aren't going to go your way. Let me read it correctly. Things aren't going to go your way. You can't kill others than those things. Things almost never turn out the way you want or expect them to, and that's all right. But it's some people that they just want to be right. And then I'm guilty of it too. I'd be on the things where it's like, I'm really good at debate. But one of the things that we did in debate class, I don't know if you've ever taken a class on public speaking or debate, was we had to argue both sides. You had to know what the defense or the offense was doing, or the plaintiff or the defendant. It works the same in court systems. That's why we have mediation and judges, because you need somebody that doesn't care about both sides and makes a decision for both sides. And usually someone's going to be the loser in that, or perceive that they got lost. But it's one of those things that you'll see in family court all the time. I remember watching it as a kid, and you watch afterward and go, how do you feel about the outcome of the decision? Oh, the judge only took his side. I don't feel like I'm wrong. Even presented with the facts, even after a judge made a ruling, they're still out there in the family court going like, that ain't the right way, or it should have gone this other way, blah, 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 blah. And it's okay to not be right. It's okay to lose a case. And it's also okay to choose peace. And it's something that we rarely do because it makes us look bad. And that's something that we're trying to do. We're trying to protect our egos instead of protecting the intelligence. And that's what I'm trying to talk about, is to have an intelligent conversation. You're going to have to be willing to risk looking foolish to the crowd. Again, it's chaos. My favorite little Japanese, Chinese symbol. You must be willing to look foolish to the crowd. And most people don't want to look foolish, so they double down on their imagery or their position or the way they feel, instead of looking at the actual data or the possibility of being wrong. Cognitive dissonance kicks in, and even when presented with all the facts, you still hold the same position. And that's what I was at. I was just like, that's the reason why I don't think I've heard an email back from her, because she's still holding on to her same position. And no time does she want to admit that I'm a human being and I have feelings, and I shouldn't have to go through her stress of her divorce, or that it's not fair to me that she's coming to me with 2 kids. I called it baggage. She doesn't want to. She said, like people call children, all children are a blessing. Not if they're not yours, like it's a whole different perspective. But it's like, if all children are a blessing, why do women put them in dumpsters? Why are women killing them in abortions? And why do they why are there any kids up for adoption? Is because some people, they don't see it that way. Some people don't see their children as a blessing. They see their children as a paycheck, and you can have some rich couple buy your baby right from your womb for like 150 grand, dude. Like you can literally make six figures just by having a baby, but you will never have that baby with your last name, any time with them or any connection with them. But that's not what we want. If it was so easy to walk away from babies, we wouldn't be able to have a civilization. We actually need that response rate to be and the desire for sex for us even to procreate. Here we are, separate mammals walking around the Serengeti, waiting for the perfect timing for a lioness to be an estrus, and that's when the lion humps her the most. We are all programmed for procreation. That's the only reason that we find each other sexy. That's the only reason why imagery turns us on. It's the only reason why certain things make us feel a certain way. I was telling it again, like yesterday or the day before. When you're with a homie, I told my homie, I could talk with you all day. It's a different vibe. As soon as a hot chick walks by, we're all shuddered. We kind of all fluttered. It's almost like this energy between human beings start to spark, and we go, oh shit, it's a different situation. We are now enticed or incentivized by our biology to have a certain feeling for certain things. It shuts the whole shit down. One of the posts, let me post this other one I thought was pretty funny. It said, where was it? Yeah, what was it? She said, is it true? I think it's on this one. It said something to the fact of, is it true that men's intelligence goes down when they see nipples? Like their brains shut off like 50% of the time. It's like we're pretty well adept at what we're saying, and then we see nipples and then our brains just go out. So it's one of those things. So yeah, okay. I know where that is. And then the argument continues because nobody wants to capitulate. Nobody wants to lose. And being a loser, like second place is the first loser. The moment that you give any leeway and say, yeah, that is a possibility. It isn't cool that I came to your house and started crying on the first time. It isn't cool that I walked away from you and I should have communicated with you. It isn't cool that I killed our baby without your permission. Those things would be enlightening to me. It'd be a revelation to say, yeah, dude, you probably should have taken the pregnant test without me. You don't know when I was 17. She brought it up too, which is a really loser move. She didn't know that I had an abortion when I was 17. And I say I had an abortion because I take responsibility. But she also used it against me and brought it up. Well, you did it that one time in band camp about 25 years ago. And it's like, yeah, that was 25 years ago. I was a child. And even then I was wrong. So it's the ability to be able to say the decision that I made was wrong, or the way that I'm acting is wrong, or the way that I'm treating you is wrong, would be a phenomenal experience for me. It's like, yeah, I'm at a public event. I took you to a private event, actually at a mansion. We're making love by the pool. And when we got done, something happened. I don't even remember what happened, but she took offense, got pissed, and started acting embarrassing me, basically, out at an event that we're at this mansion party. We're lucky to be there. These are my friends, and you're making me look bad. I got to argue with you, almost let you take an Uber home because you won't get right. You know what I mean? You want to stay funky. And I'm like, do you need to take your own ride home? And there was no pushing involved. There was no kicking out of bed. There was no arguments in the parking lot. It was just that moment she wanted to double down on stupidity and embarrass me. And instead of like, get your shit together, like you would tell a kid, I want to throw a fit in the middle of the fucking Walmart. You would tell your kid, hey, I told you, don't touch shit in this. I told you, don't act up and don't ask for shit. How many parents have said that to their kids? Don't ask for shit, don't touch shit, and don't complain. Many a times, but as a child, we're like, yeah, that's what adults are supposed to say to children. How about what are adults supposed to say to other adults? I'll wait. You know what I mean? And that's what ends up happening is like, we don't want to be corrected at all. We don't want to have any, they call it save face, and especially in Asian cultures and Chinese people, Thai people, they don't want to look foolish. So they rather save face, double down on the lie. And it doesn't mean that there's still not a leak in the dam. And that's something that most of us don't want to see. We don't want to see where we're leaky. We don't want to see where we're fucking up, or where we've wronged somebody, or we should have done something differently. We'll double down and go, well, they did this and they did that. that, and therefore I did this. And well, two wrongs don't make a right. And that's where I was telling her in this email was like, you might be able to say I did X, Y, and Z. I uh, kicked you out of my bed when you were talking about your ex. I cheated on you when you clearly told me you didn't want to have the baby. And B, I was forceful with you out in the parking lot, but you're the one that walked away from me. So it's one of those things where if you want to be stupid stubborn, and I call it stupid stubborn because I'm a Taurus and we have a stubborn level that's stupid sometimes. And if you want to be stupid stubborn and just hold true to whatever you think is your position, you're going to have a tough time in the world where there's so many different positions, there's so many different outcomes, and there's so many different perspectives. And we talked about perspective yesterday, but that's exactly what it is. You're more welcome to watch that hour-long show. I don't want to just waste my time, but I digress. Watch it if you want to, but that's what it is. It's all of us making constant decisions. Do I brush my teeth? Do I take a shower? Do I go work out? They're simple decisions, like this thing says. Sometimes it's the simple things that add up to consistent change, but that's what it is. It's as simple as, do I eat breakfast or do I wait till 3 o'clock and hold true to my fasting and do my workout before I eat my breakfast? Most of the time I just want to eat. Like right now, I'm looking at that banana over there on the counter and I'm going like, hey, banana, I want you. You see the banana on the counter? Hey, banana. Right there by the glass thing, there's the banana right there. And I'm hungry, but I also know I got to get past my first food cravings in the morning, because that's how fasting works. I know if I just smoke and wait it out and talk for the hour, in about another half hour, I won't even have the same feeling that I'm having right now. And that's what we forget to discount. We want to marry a feeling knowing damn well it's a sandcastle, bro. Any moment the tide's going to come in or a wave is going to wash that away. No sandcastle are permanent, and neither are feelings. And we don't want to wait for our feelings to settle down or to contemplate or to have a fresh start. We want to jump into our feelings and be like, yo, man, this is how I feel, bro. And I'm going to marry this feeling, and I'm going to die on that hill, is what we say, is maybe like a custard reference, custard and is it Bighorn? Anyway, that's history, but you're going to die on some hills, man, and it might not be worth it. And that's what Custard gave his life and he's now famous for. But like, he shouldn't have came to that hill with that many Indians, but he didn't know. So therefore he was married to one idea that ended up costing him his life and his other. What the Rock is cooking. I'm going to kill these kids. They're fucking annoying me. And I shouldn't kill anybody, but it's just a phrase, but it's that fucking annoying. Fuckers. But anyway. I said it and I meant it, is that they say, bitch, I said what I said. It's all up in my head. That fucking song. I love fucking whatever her fucking Doja Cat. I love all her songs, but damn, it's fucking all up in my head. But you can be feral. You can wear a feral shirt. You can act like fucking Doja Cat. You can act like you're Miss Independent. But even she has bad days. Even she can be wrong. And even her style can be the wrong approach for somebody. You can be the devil, but you also got to be the angel, man. You got to be the person that's willing to sacrifice for the team and stop getting your percentage shots up and start passing the ball around. Or go do exercises with your teammates. Team building exercises is what they're called. But most of us are on the independent building exercise, where we just want to build ourselves independently. It's a very Chinese philosophy. The Chinese always say, and I lived in China, what they would say is like, first you get to the top, then you start treating people right. So you can do all these nefarious things to get to the top. Cutthroat, talk shit, start rumors, jockey for position, and get to the executive level, and then you're supposed to be benevolent. And then what's end up happening is you're still as corrupt and still as destructive and still as backstabby as before, and then it's just a corrupt system. So it's one of those things where it's like, sure, you get to the top, but how did you get to the top? Did you treat people like shit all the way up and just shit on people and be like, okay, well, at least I got to the top? Well, how many people have you had to hurt or defeat or kill to get to your position? And that's something a lot of people don't talk about. It's like, how did you get there? Well, most of us want us to get there by merit, by hard work, and by earning it. And what really happens is it's usually nepotism, which means that, someone in the family gave them the job, or we preferred that person to be a certain type of way. So therefore, we gave him that way. You know what I mean? And we're like, well, he's really good at being argumentative, so let's make him a lawyer, or he's really good with details, so let's make him a doctor, or one of these things that we kind of pigeonhole people in situations where we could easily be the devil and we could easily be the angel in all situations. Don't mind the Saints brand, but that's mostly Saints. That's exactly what I was saying. Is like at any moment, even the fucking nicest grandma can come out and be a Karen. You know what I mean? And we watch those videos all the time. Women being super aggressive, like standing underneath cars. I seen one chick right by the tire. So the guy wanted to leave and she wouldn't let him leave because she believed that she was right to like block people in her own driveway when they came to the wrong house or something. Or sometimes it'll be a worker that's doing some work for the next door neighbors and they're leaving notes on their car like, please don't park here. When it's everybody can park on the public, but they want to take power and they don't want to give up their power. So they reinforce their power by coming out and confronting the person. And there's a lot of videos like this where it's like, you think that you're right, but you're not the police. How about the girl that comes to the barbecue? You're not allowed to have barbecues out in the park. Are you the police? No, but I'm calling the police and they're on their way. She ended up being arrested because she was causing a public disturbance. But that's like, this is a family's job. It's not your job to police other people. It's your job to police yourself. And we should police the police, actually. But it's not your job to be a citizen's arrest and tell people who can barbecue in the park or not. And what made you so damn entitled to think that you were the only one right? That's what happens when we start believing in our ego as edging God out. We start losing our rationale and believing like, well, my shit don't stink. They're in the wrong, and therefore they deserve their consequences. And it was just like, wait, hold on a second. Are they in a favela? Yeah. Okay. And did the guy get right? This has happened in my world, in my experience, in real life. I heard some crazy shit about Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, that there was going to be this stark difference, and there was actually plates up when you're going past the subway. Plates up for the Olympics when it was the Brazil Olympics, so people couldn't see the favelas. Now there's rich areas, pockets of areas in Rio de Janeiro, but there's pockets of poverty, and they just blocked it out so you wouldn't actually get to see. They put up these big ass walls so you wouldn't see, and some of them were broken and some of them have spray paint because the hood is fighting back. But the truth is you can't block out poverty. It really does exist, and then you want to be able to pretend that because you're walking past Louis Vuitton, like I saw in Helsinki, that the guy wouldn't be digging in the trash for food or recycling goods right outside of Louis Vuitton. You want everything to be perfect in your world where all you have to do is purchase things and people bring you champagne and not a hair is out of place. But everyone wakes up with bad taste in their mouth. Everybody needs to brush their teeth. We all need a shower daily. Your shit stinks like everyone else. But there's people that spend high money so they can stay high class and live a life that pretend like everything's fine in my world. I'm the one that came on the private jet. I'm the one with the Louis Vuitton bag. And now I'm the one partying in Ibiza when there's so many people that can barely afford homes in Ibiza. I saw the other half. I saw the documentary in Spain, in Mallorca, right next to Mallorca's right next to Ibiza. And I got to witness the other side of this huge party lifestyle. They're selling homes for like $11,000 a night or some shit like that. And it was just like, you're trying to live this life where these other people, the people that serve you the food, the people that drive your bus, the people that are your chauffeur, they don't even have a house to piss in, and we'll spend $11,000 on a one night thing just so we can say I got it. You know what I mean? We'll do that like I'm living this life. Well, you're living a life of lies, and here's where it comes down to. When the Buddha was raised, he was raised by a king. He was the son of a king. He never got to see any aging. He never got to see any death, and he never got to see any handicaps. And when he lived that life, it was perfect for him, but he was in the castle walls. It was only after that he jumped outside of the castle walls did he see people dying in the streets or people going hungry or there are old people. There's a cycle to life. It's not always pretty young people around me and things are always good. No, there's halos there's horns with the halo, and people didn't want to acknowledge that. And that was when the aha moments of the Buddha was that there was suffering. And that's one of the main key components of Buddhism, is that we all want to move away from suffering. So when all of us feel entitled, or that we don't want bad days, or we don't want to be broke, or we don't want to be unhealthy, all true, dude. I don't want anybody to be broke and unhealthy. That's the worst thing position, because health, if you don't have health, you have nothing. Like this thing said, top 7. And it's so true, because now you're not in the position to be able to adjust your sales. Now, the most things that's top priority for you, like I said, if I snap my arm now, I'm stopping the show and I'm rushing to the hospital. It's going to be my top priority to get my shoulder back in place, or to get an arm split, or to go see a doctor. Even if I don't have insurance, even if I don't have money, it's going to be my top priority. Somewhere between the water, the smoke, and me talking fast, it makes me burp. Let me get another bong rip. Hold tight, hold tight. Join Weed Club on Instagram. Anyway, and you got to spell join Weed Club. But, you know, for us to be able to see our own forest through our trees, to be able to see our own lies and our own biases, is a really healthy mind. You know, to be able to just go, I can't just put it all on you. Some of it's on me. And you're right. I was going through the worst part of my life, and I did expect you to come be my knight in shining armor and save me. And you're not Captain Save-A-Ho, and it's not your responsibility to raise my children, and it's not your responsibility to show them a loving relationship. It's on you. It was your first relationship. That's that kid's father. It's one thing she'll never see in the world, but I know she didn't want me disciplining her children. Weed Club, thank you, Erica, for watching. But there's one thing that people don't do, right? They don't want to assume responsibility and be like, okay, well, I took this route, therefore I'm stuck to this boat. And we used to say that ship's already sailed, and it's either you're on that ship or you're not. And there's a lot of people, I've missed ships coming from Mallorca. I missed ships and I had to switch quick to get on the boat. I just needed to get to Barcelona. But if you're not on the boat and the thing lifts up, it's sailing without you. And there's a lot of people that don't want to get in with the program. They don't want to see any kind of things wrong with them. They just want to let the ship sail and miss the whole point, and miss the other side of the argument, and not see how the other debate team prepared their argument, which is a huge thing, right? When you're in debate class, you had to argue both positions. It was a really cool mind exercise, but it was like, okay, let's take like affirmative action. How do you feel about affirmative action? Well, it's good for Black people and people of color, and to offset systemic racism, and everybody should have a shot at a job, and this and that. Then you get on the other side and go, what if these people aren't qualified? Just because you need a shot at the job doesn't mean you're qualified for the job. And taking away nepotism, not everybody's qualified to be in that position. And there's only so many positions. And to be able, my brain to be able to understand affirmative actions on this side, and to not implement affirmative action, you have to be on both sides of the argument. Is it okay that there's systemic racism? No, it's not. So therefore we came up with affirmative action. Is it okay that the person got the job because of the color of their skin? Isn't that why we started affirmative action? We're just trying to break up this this litany of racist decisions, and based on creed or your color. Now you're going to say, what's your aptitude? What's your attitude? What's your experience? And that's what we're going to want to base things on. And that's how the Mongolian Empire was built. Genghis Khan was one of the first famous ones, because it's not because your daddy was the general that you got the job. You got the job because you earned the job. You showed aptitude and attitude and gumption and the ability to do something. Therefore, you got that new position. Now you're the next general. And if it always worked that way, Napoleon would have never gotten to power position. He wasn't raised in any sort of fancy family. He didn't come from money. He wasn't a lord to some state. It's because he took a position that wasn't going to be able to do very well. They cornered this whole area. He put artillery. I actually think he put up a sign that said, "For the brave ones," or something like that. He took the hill. It's landslided the whole rest of the battle, and they won the battle because he took action. Now, it's one of those things that most people are going to be like, yes, he needs that raise because he took action. He obviously showed aptitude. He should be the next artillery general. And the other people were like, well, he didn't come from a king. His dad wasn't nothing. So therefore, even he did a good job at that one battle, he shouldn't have that position. We do it all the time, dude. And that's why we have to look at ourselves as valuable, meaning that we're not perfect. And that's where Saint's addiction comes from, was just like, no one is perfect, dude. You don't want a saint to have addictions. And that's why it's a dichotomy. You don't want to be looking in the light that you're not a nice person, or that you're not capable of anger, or that you're not capable of fear. And all those things are capable in all people. We'll look at big dudes and be like, "You're fearful?" And like, yeah, because he's human. He's human. Even if it's just a big guy, it ain't gonna stop a bullet. And bullets have no names. They don't have, like we say in the hood, they can shoot anyone. And that's what's really sad about the hood. Is it's like bullets have no names, and even sometimes innocent people get shot. And that's what I was talking about yesterday when like people are freaking out. I always watch the bystanders. You got to pull your daughter to the side. Even if you guys are just doing a prank, you're a little bit wild energy right now, and we're on escalators. We're just shopping, and you're the one doing a prank show. But that's not my priority. And then I saw Pierce Brosnan or Pierce Morgan chewing somebody out on the show, and he's like, "I think you're a piece of shit." He's like, "You're just stupid. All you're doing, you're invading someone else's privacy. You're stealing women's dogs. You're trying to jump over a Hasidic Jew. You're causing trouble, and you're only doing it for you." And that's what end up people doing. They end up being very selfish. That's why I'm calling out my ex, because it was like, you didn't want to include me in anything. You'd be like, "Well, you're too argumentative." Well, I'm the guy you hired. You're sleeping with this guy that's emotional, this guy that has anger, and also is very passionate. So it's like, if you wanted to deal with anybody else without the fucking motorcycles, I would love to have that happen. Fuckers. But anyway, but that's what it is. So it's like getting mad at your choices and be like, "Well, you chose that horse, so that's the horse you got to ride in on." It's the same as gambling. If you picked a horse and they didn't win, you lose your money. But that's the horse that you picked. And a lot of people are sitting there going like, "Well, let me switch it real quick." It's like, no. This is our situation. This is what we have to deal with. And that's the kind of reality I was bringing them. It's like, whether you agree with sitting there with your mom that it was too soon, or it's your body, or any of that stuff, it still made that child about 24 weeks old, and that baby had a heartbeat and was already kicking in her womb. So whether you liked it or not, that's what happened. And whether you like it or not, you still murdered a live child. You still murdered a baby. Like when I was doing it with my ex, we did it within like the first month. Like it was like 4 weeks, 3 weeks in. It was still a clump of cells, so I could kind of sleep at night, but not something that was a baby bump, dude. Not something that had a heartbeat, bro. Not something that was in your second trimester, bro. You should have made that decision in your first trimester. I gave her all of November without talking to her, so she had the first trimester to do whatever she wanted to do. By the time I showed up, you had lost your right to do whatever you wanted to do. And if you don't believe me, Roe versus Wade got unwinded, and therefore we're trying to say what you're doing is illegal. You know what I mean? You took the pregnancy test without me. That's something that I did with my ex when I was 17. I made her drink water. I remember sitting there, keep drinking. I mean, I literally put the tab in her pee stream. I don't watch girls pee, but I sat there and watched her pee because I want to be a part of the process. I want to know what's going on. You didn't include me, and you excluded me, and you excluded your family on the truth, and therefore you deserve your own responsibility. You talk about you want a family, but you killed your other family. You killed my family for sure. You literally murdered an innocent, undeveloped a baby. But I've also heard other people where babies are born 4 months early, so even our child stood a chance of actually living. You killed the trajectory. First of all, you killed life, and life is the most important thing on this. Health is all that we care about. The health of even unborn children. Health and life are the rarest things. I think I look at all the trees, and I'm like, wow, look, there's aspens, there's pine, and they all grow together, like really close together. If trees of different species can grow together near each other, so can we as human beings. And that was one of the things. It's like, you might come up against people, and this is a cognitive bias, and you'll choose your friends because you might want some yes men, or people that only agree with you, or I only date Republicans. But how easy or how hard it is to actually see the position of maybe a liberal if you're a conservative. And it's like, if you're a Republican, can you see a Democrat's argument? Are you able to switch positions, or do you only just hold the position because that's what Republicans do? And you were like, okay, well, I'm married to this. I'm a diehard Republican. So even if some of the issues like gun control, I don't want to have school shootings and these little children getting murdered, like that one thing that happened in Texas. You're just like, oh my God, this is where we got to stop. This is not right. And then you go, but I still want to have my gun just in case somebody breaks into my house, and then they might steal my TV, so I'll steal their life, because a life TV is worth more than a life. What? You're like, what? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here where we're like, it's okay children are getting murdered in their school when they're places they're supposed to be safest and getting educated, and we're just because I want to have my gun and feel safe because someone might mouth off to me at the fucking taco shop. Man, I have to breathe on that. It is tough. These decisions, abortion, gun control, Republican, Democrat, party policies, and voting rights. It's all tough, man. And life is not supposed to be easy, but we'll sit there, especially like this girl on Pearly things, and go, well, it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be able to be mean to people in the workplace, and there should be no pressure at all. And it's like, if you're not aware how capitalism works, if you're not aware that it takes this whole team to work their ass off so they can beat the other team that's sitting in Japan coming up with Sony, they're going to take a lot of people to come up with Activision and Blizzard. Is it Blizzard? I think the other ones, these other gaming consoles or companies, when the other half is building Tetris in Russia or Mario Brothers in Japan. You're up against things. And there's going to be a pressure, whether we like it or not. There's pressure to raise children. I'm sorry to my ex, but there wasn't going to be an easy release valve. You took the easy way out and maybe got abortion and not told anybody, and you want everybody to just slide into the past and forget whatever happened. But you forgot that you were dating an influencer, and you harmed my life and my lineage, and now I got something to say about it. And there's other if there are 45 million abortions since the 1970s, then guess 45 million abortions since what, 1976, when Roe versus Wade started. Now we have the responsibility of how many lives aren't born. How now we have the responsibility to keep our civilization alive, so that way we go into perpetuity. She kept saying men need women because they can't come up with children. You need my seed as much as I need your seed, your egg. And that's something that we don't want to admit to. We don't want to admit that we need each other, that we're better off as a team, that by working together on each other's shoulders, we stand tall. But everybody wants to pay their own bills. Like, how rational is that? My brother was like, rent? He fucking made it look like he farted in my face. I haven't paid rent ever. What he did is he fucking saved up his money, got himself a house, and he rents out the room so that other people pay rent. And that's how Airbnb works. That's how tenants work. Slumlords, you name it. They're waiting for you to pay their bills. And they usually owe it to the bank. And that's how the whole 2008 housing crisis bubble happened, because everybody wanted to own a home, but nobody wanted to have the income. They had undeclared income. They weren't making their payments, or payments were going late, and the whole system crashed. So it's one thing for us to want the house. It's another thing for us to be able to afford the house, let alone 5 mortgages and a condo. Like the stripper said, we all want to get rich quick. We all want to be healthy by a pill, and we all want to have love without effort. And it's just like, that is not reasonable. That isn't something that's both sides of things. Is like, these things got to be earned, just like respect. And it's one of those things that you can't just demand. You got to earn it. And most people are out there, especially the women that I'm seeing in the situation, they demand respect. But men, we know we got to earn that shit. And we know when another man, like my buddy told me, he said, man, you're looking fat. And if it wasn't for him telling me that I looked fat, I would have never quit the sugar, and I would have never started my diet or my workouts. I would have still stayed fat because, oh, he called me fat. Or, hello, I'm noticing that you're unhealthy, and if you don't do something about it, like going to the doctor, we'll have cognitive dissonance, and they'll be like, you have diabetes. And you'll be like, oh shit, what kind of insulin are you going to give me? And he's going to be like, no, you got to change your eating habits. You're like, what? It's on me? Yeah, dude, it's on you, dude, to change your eating habits. It's on you what you put in your mouth, and that's something that you can control. We tell men all the time, it's like, sure, you might not be rich, sure, you might not be tall and necessarily good looking, but you can still work out. You can still get a job. You can still take showers. There's certain things, wear cologne. There's certain things that you can do that have nothing to do with your race, creed, color, religion, and what genetics you were born with. But you can still be funny. You can still do magic tricks. You can still dress nice. These things are in your control. If you don't believe me, watch the fucking, what the guys called? I forget what they're called, but the guys that are like in the Congo that wait all year, they save up for 7 years to get like Superfly shoes. I think you guys seen them. They walk around, dandies. That's what they're called, the dandies. And they walk around with full suits like they're fucking multi-millionaires going through the slums of the Congo with fucking pinstripe suits and perfect shoes, and not a fucking a drop of mud on them when they're going down mud brick roads, bro. Like, they're not even brick roads. There's just, it's a dirt road, but they're not a single piece of dirt on their clothing. Everybody wants to be a dandy, right? Everybody wants to shine, but nobody wants to pay the price for the prize. And no one wants to humble themselves and say, I was wrong, or I did you wrong, or I should have done XYZ, or even apologize. How many people are we still arguing with in our lives? And I know my friend that came to Vegas before I left came, got drunk, and started massaging the Uber guy's shoulder. And that shit pissed me off so much that we haven't talked since. Not once has he called me and said, man, I apologize. Not once has he said, I shouldn't have made you look bad. And not once has he ever said, man, I was out of control. I shouldn't have been that drunk. No, he's probably still drinking, holding true to that, and ignoring or not calling me, and rather delete the friendship when we've been friends for almost like 10 years, or 5 years, whatever it's been. We've been good friends, and we always laugh. We always get each other's jokes. We always have a good time together. But the first time he comes to Vegas, he showed his ass out, and he doesn't want to apologize for it. It's the same thing I did when I went to San Francisco with my ex. We had 3 beautiful days together before this argument, and if I didn't show my ass out, if I didn't freak out, and what the women like to call a manic episode, it makes it so numb to what the details are. What do you mean by a manic episode? Well, my buddy's manic episode the other day was to break things, and things almost flew and hit me. He's like, I think you should go. And it's like, no shit, dude, you're freaking out. You're thrashing your own house. You're breaking your own things. You're, priceless photos from the 1990s, and they're about to get water on them and beer on them and lit on fire. Like, you can't get back that. So if you want to live in those emotions and burn the bridges, or what they call burn the boats, if you're Ferdinand Cortez and you're letting your men know we don't even have any boats, you know how hard it is to build boats? I've actually watched this. This takes a bunch of years and a bunch of wood and a bunch of effort and a bunch of money to build boats, and you just burned a Ferrari. Your only Ferrari to get back to main Spain, you burnt it just to show the guys that we are stuck here and we have to be here. And it was a big message to people. Like, okay, now we don't have a way back. I guess we will have to do something about it. And that's what I was just telling them. I'm like, we don't have a way back. We got to do something about this. We're pregnant. We're arguing. We're not getting along. We need your mom as a mediator. We need something here. And what did they do? They were just like, let's burn the boats. And there's a classic phrase that I hold true to this, but you don't throw the baby out with the baby water, dude. You don't get to just throw away out all the time and all the effort and all the energy because you don't like the way things are going. And that's what ends up happening with people that are stick-to-itiveness, have consistency, and have discipline. Because, yeah, I don't like getting up in the morning and running at 4, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in silk boxers. You're absolutely right, Larry Holmes, the undefeated champ. It's really hard to get up at 5 a.m. when you're wearing silk boxers in your mansion and you got $100 million in the bank. You're not going to be as motivated, Conor McGregor. You're not going to be as disciplined with what you as you once were. And all of us go in and out of discipline. All of us end up saying we're going to stick to a diet, stay on it a week, and then we get off of it. All of us have said a lie. All of us have been wrong. But for us to say that, that's what makes my show, Saints Addiction. It's like I'm the mistake master. I got my hands up. It's not just me. And then a lot of people have a tough time with that. They have a tough time seeing the darkness in their light. And if there is no light without darkness, and there's no darkness without light, go into space. There's a lot of darkness, but every once in a while, there's some fucking light. And if you go into that light, guess what? There is no darkness. There is no space. And that's just what it is either you're the planet or you're the space. And there's the space in between. They call it dark matter. And that's the place that I wanted to live or build my brand around, was this dichotomy that we could be these really good people and also do these really bad things. And that's just what ends up happening. It's like us as human beings, you could be the nicest person in the world, going to fucking church every Sunday and reading the Bible. But as soon as someone cuts you off, you're fucking getting out of your car and chewing them out. You don't believe me? That's exactly how my grandma met my step grandpa Otis. He came and parked in her spot, and she came out, or tried to park in her spot in church, and she got out and gave him a piece of my mind. This is my spot. This is at church, by the way. This is my grandma chewing him out. Go, this is my spot. You don't park there. No. My grandma turned into Karen. And then she does it often. I'm not going to get my grandma off the case because she's very opinionated and very closed-minded, and she'll always be that Southern woman who thinks she's just too smart to learn anything different, and the way she views it is the way it is. And there's many ways to skin a cat, Grandma, and you shouldn't be having arguments in the parking lot. So that's just at church, by the way. Like that's what ends up happening is we hide behind our mask. We pretend that we're holier than thou. and that our shit don't stink, and that we can't possibly have cognitive biases, and that we can't possibly be wrong. And I'm still waiting here with my bated breath for my ex to go say, you're right. I should have consulted you before I had this abortion. You're right. I should have talked with you instead of walking away. You're right. I shouldn't have kept arguing with you. I should have created a safe space for both of us to talk. It's like, yeah, bro, it's not just on me, homie. And that's the email I sent to her, and I haven't heard back from her because I think she just got a realization that, yeah, sure, you can go, well, he was being mean to me. And it was like, what did you say to him before he was mean to you? It's the same thing I asked my own mother. What did you say to my dad to make him punch you in the nose, dude? Like, I'm just serious. As a man now, I'm 43 years old, and I'm thinking, I've never hit a bitch in the face. What did you say? I think you said something to the effect, the team is done with, and I'm taking the kids. Excuse the fuck out of me? You don't take my children? I see it in all my friends' faces when we were sitting around those tables, the way we get as humans. Let me ask you as a mom, hold up. I think Erica's still watching. What if somebody's going to go discipline Indy? I'll wait. Yeah, they take your daughter and they start spanking her. How do you feel about that? Do you not get indignant? Do you not double down on some violence? Do you not want to show some hands and regulate? Nope. That's all she had. One word. Nope. Because that's how we are as men. Oh, you're going to take my child with me? Nope. You're away from me? Nope. And that's the funny thing. You just choose that word because you didn't watch the video that I just watched. Whap, bap, bap, bro. Whap, bap, bap. Catch these hands. And that's what ended up happening. So it's like I was watching the show, and the girl sits there on Jerry Springer, and the guy's sitting there calmly, and she's like, I'm taking our daughter, and I'm going to go be a lesbian in Florida. And she went on this whole little thing, and all he said was, your word. Nope. That's not going to happen. That is my daughter. You can be a lesbian. You can lick coochie. You can go be in love with somebody else, but this is still my daughter, and you ain't going to just go off and go do what you want to do and make decisions without me. And that's unfortunately what's happened with my buddy Fred. His ex just took his house that was given to him by his grandmother, has control of the kid, and now trying to fuck with his business. And now he has to live without all of his stuff, his CDs, his clothes, and in his own house, bro. Like, that's what we do. We bring people through the mud because we got mud in our heads. I know I'm not exactly the most balanced person. I know I got a psych degree. I know sometimes I can be too ferocious for most people's beings, other human beings. But at the same time, I'm not allowed to just impin my will upon people. Like they reminded me in South Korean prison, you're in Korea. It's Korea laws that matter. It didn't matter that I had just gone from Colorado, who has fully legal weed. It didn't matter that I was in Nevada that had fully Colorado, Nevada, and California, the big weed states, the whole weed coast. None of that mattered because I was in South Korea. Yeah, but like that's only 3 grams. And he pointed at his finger and said, no means no, dude. Even this amount is punishable by our law system. Did I find that to be fair? If you're watching this now, you'll probably say, that's fucked up. 5 years for 3 grams, that's fucked up. But it doesn't matter what we think. It mattered what the laws were. And it was a big aha moment when I'm in South Korean prison that I had to obey someone else's laws. It didn't matter that I was American. It didn't matter that I had a medical card, and it didn't matter that it was a small amount. No meant no, and I was going to be punished. And I spent 6 months of my life in a South Korean prison in solitary confinement, having nothing but my own thoughts. And I wrote a book, and you can go read that book called The Book Endure, or go follow on Instagram at The Book Endure, because I had to endure something. And that's something I don't think many people have anymore. And that's probably why you're watching the morning motivation, is because I endure things. I can't believe I'm still sitting here alive and not suicidal and killed myself after losing my child. I can't believe that I even kept going and started my business in Saints Addiction after I got out of South Korean prison. I was like, this time is now. Y'all better start following me with cameras because I live a wild life and I'm going to go full bore. If you're going to keep my life for 5 years in solitary confinement, look what I can do when I get out and I have my freedom for the next 5 years. And I fucking work like a Hebrew slave, bro. You had never seen somebody more motivated than a guy fresh out of prison. Let me show you what you would have stole from me with that 5 years and what I can do. I got to clap my hands because that amount of energy, whap, bap, bap, that's going to happen. Case in point, and then I'll let you go. I'll tell the quick story. I was at work washing dishes at the elderly home, the retirement home, and my girlfriend was doing the laundry, and we would fuck at the laundry room and all this other good shit, right? I'm making $10 an hour, or even probably just minimum wage. My dad calls me and tells me that my sister's been in a car accident. Come home quick. My sister wasn't in a car accident, but he was trying to get me a job, and it was $10 an hour, and it was hard labor, and it was actually at UNLV. Now at UNLV, I was fucking pushing the thing. I have my scar on my hand where the rebar cut me. I had to be there at 2, 3 a.m. It was hot weather, so therefore you had to get there early. It's Las Vegas. We're building the Cox Pavilion by the Thomas and Mack Center at UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, where my alma mater, where I graduated homeless. Little did I know how motivated I would be after a full summer of hard construction work, because guess what? Fuck you, motorcycle. I paid for those fucking credits, and it was my effort that was on the line. And if I'm going to put that much effort in going to construction and being at work at 3 a.m. and having heat stroke twice and cutting myself viciously where dark blood came out of my hand, you never met a more motivated student. I watched all the girls go by in summer, and I'm hollering at them, and I got my construction work, and I'm hanging off a wall, and I'm on the scaffolding. Fuck all that. By the time it was my time to shine, by the time it was my time to go to work, after that summer, fall season started, and I started the fall semester, all the guys were cheering me on because they didn't want me to be there. You get what I'm saying? It's just like the movie, what's the movie? Good Will Hunting. He's like, I don't want to fucking pick you up. You're a fucking genius, man. You're the one that can get out of this, bro. And I'm sick of you working a construction job with me and having beers on the weekend and doing the same shit, bro. I don't want to ever have to pick you up again. I want to knock on the door one day and you not be there and go see about a girl. And I think we've all seen that. And that's been my hour of shine. So if you got anything out of this, please like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy Marky Saints Addiction. I'm on a good one. I've been doing hour shows lately because I got so much to unwind, and I've been very grateful. I'm grateful for you watching. I hope that you go live your life, get off this, go exercise, go into the sunshine. I can see a little bit of sunshine, so it's my time. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go spend my time working on my health and my mental health and my physical health and my financial health. And you should too. So get off this and go do this, or buy a shirt and help me with that. Saints brand, mostly Saints Addiction, but both sides are true, and whatever side you choose, you're committed to that consequence, and know that life has ups and downs, but just make sure you smile more than you frown. Peace and love. I'll see you on the other side. Chigata.